Hey, I'm Ashton, back from Quantum Blackboard, and I'm here to give you the second installment in our World History unit. If you haven't watched the introduction, I will go ask you to watch that. I'll put a link in the description. Last week we discovered the theories of creation, and I embarrassed myself by saying that a completely normal and common action was weird, which it might be, because we have no idea of the standards of weird and normal. Maybe birds were supposed to lay eggs containing fish, but something happened. Ah! Yes, joy! I won't have to play the controversy and theory tapes, which is a good reminder I won't get any angry comments in the comments section. Wait, well, no, I know YouTube better than that. Anyway, so, I present to you Earth. I think it's there. Somewhere around there. Mesopotamia was located in parts of modern-day Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. It started around 10,000 BC, but then it reached its peak about 3,000 BC. Its name is Greek for a land between rivers, which you'd think in ancient times is a pretty good deal, unless it's these rivers. The Tigris and the Euphrates were pretty bad for Mesopotamia. They flooded unpredictably and were hard to navigate in boat, which is bad, because a flood could wipe out your nation, you know. But the people of Mesopotamia did the best with what they had and created amazing irrigation schemes using the two rivers. But in order to be called a civilization, Mesopotamia had to have a governing system. And theirs was one of the epic fights, and theirs represented one of the epic fights in politics between religion and power, and like government. See, originally, the government of Mesopotamia was priests and priestesses. If you automatically thought through Europe from the Middle Ages to 1800s, then you've studied history well. At the beginning of Mesopotamia, when priests and priestesses ruled, they had the ability to talk with the civilization's insane gods, which was a pretty big deal, because those gods were absolutely insane. See, palaces then started rivaling the giant temples dedicated to these gods, and these new rulers collected quite a crowd. And if you're not getting it, this crowd came from the priests and priestesses. And then, you know, they had children with the priests and priestesses, and then they started calling themselves priests. And so all the people from the religious crowd were like, oh, okay, we're going to go over and follow them, and the seesaw began to tip. Now, at about 3000 BC, Mesopotamia reached its peak, called the Early Dynasty. But we don't really care about that, except that the numeral system was based around units of 60, and that's why a minute or an hour has 60 minutes, and a circle has 360 degrees. If you want to learn more about this, be watching out for the History of Math mini-series coming out soon. So, I came here to tell you world-changing content, and here it is. There were kind of two Mesopotamias. Yeah, I know you're like, no, that can't be possible. But I'll let you decide for yourself. Let me explain. So, right after the Early Dynasty, Mesopotamia was conquered by nomads, who in turn became urban dwellers like the original Mesopotamians. But since they were conquered, it turned from a unified kingdom into a bunch of city-states that could barely be called one civilization. It just occurred to me that I didn't explain what a city-state is. It's a city that has its own government and everything, and so can survive on itself, which is where the state part comes in. And these city-states fought with weird names like Akkad, and Uruk, and Kisk, and Lagad, and Arudu, and a ton more. So, these new city-states had rulers like Hammurabi, who said, I am the shepherd that brings peace. My benevolent shade spreads over the city. I held the peoples of Sumer and Akkad safely on my lap. The name thing wasn't new, though. In the first Mesopotamia, they had kings like Sargon of Akkad, a great warrior king, and Lugalazeli of Umma, who ruled much of Sumer, the south of Mesopotamia. These new city-states were fierce in battle, but the most ferocious was Assyria. They conquered all of Mesopotamia and eventually Egypt in the name of their great god Ashur, who supposedly said that if Assyrian conquest stopped, so would the world. And they were pretty successful at doing this because of their crazy efficient army. In the Assyrian army, generals were chosen on skill, not by family. And they were really good at placing workers, skilled workers, like scientists and architects and masons, where they were needed in Assyria. And plus this army was so, and you know, they were also got your regular raiding in Nanking. Nanking was the capital of the Republic of China in the Second Sino-Japanese War. And in 1937 the Japanese captured it and committed widespread atrocities such as murder and rape. So I'm using Nanking as the synonym for the latter from here on out. So now I'm going to explain your next civilization. So let's go to the me in the Indus Valley. The Indus Valley civilization was located between two rivers, the Indus and the Gargar-Hakra. I'm not going to disguise it. If I butchered that last one, I'm going to own it because I did. But these rivers are not like Mesopotamia's Tigris and Euphrates because they are the envy of every ancient civilization. They flooded very reliably twice a year, and because of this, the Indus Valley civilization had the largest calorie per acre number of any other ancient civilization. The Indus people were also very advanced scientifically, as they were the first to have a specified waste system. And they were also very advanced in art. See, they created jewelry, stone and bronze figures, and pottery and silver and gold ornaments. These artifacts tell us something very important about the Indus Valley civilization, because they were found in Mesopotamia. We think this trade system started around 3500 BC. But wait, there's more. This is one of the largest ancient civilizations, with over 1,500 sites have been found, and almost no weapons. I hope that didn't go by, because there were no weapons. Plus, they had great architecture. They constructed multi-story buildings that were positioned to catch the wind, and had a drainage system that would be the envy of London for quite a while. Plus, their biggest building was a bath called the Great Bath, and it was named, of course, by historians. But the interesting thing is that all the cities were like that, suggesting a centralized government. But let's go back to the trade. These politics, transactions, and other... So the biggest thing these people produced were seals. No, seals. Thank you. These seals were used in government meetings and transactions. And we find them everywhere. But here's the crazy thing. They have inscriptions and pictures that we can't read. See, we know the Indus Valley had a language, but it's a mystery to us. We know it had about 500 symbols, but that's just about it. But as any civilization has to, the Indus Valley civilization had to disappear. And we know that in 1700 BC, Mohenjo-Daro, its biggest city, experienced a huge flood, but none that could have destroyed the whole civilization. We also know that the kingdom spread beyond their roads, which has only worked out for two empires, the Mongol Empire and the Empire. But as to the big reason, there are only three prominent fears: attack, lack of resources, and earthquake. See, having no weapons is a pretty bad idea for a civilization, especially when you're surrounded by others that do. They could have been attacked by the ancestors of the people who inhabit the place now. Another theory is that they used up all the resources and just packed up and left. And then another is that an earthquake changed the river so much that they couldn't collect the water they needed for their crops. My personal theory is that it happened because of the CIA and aliens. Maybe the Bilderberger Society. Wait, I just experienced something theoretical. Darn it. So let's get a comparison here. Our Mesopot was between two bad rivers. We're okay craftsmen and architects, had economic status, but had social mobility, and got conquered and turned into a warring land. The Indus Valley civilization was between two good rivers, didn't have a very large gap between people of different status, class, or financial status. They were amazing architects, builders, and masons, and had a very rich civilization. And we get parts of modern culture from both civilizations, but we can get much more. That's where you guys come in. Thank you for helping Quantum on our quest to terminate ignorance. If you'd like the bibliography, notes, or script for this, it's on quantumblackboard.com. Just click the downloads page and history. If you're a teacher, you can also go to that same page, and we'll have lesson plans, PowerPoints, worksheets, and homework sheets, as well as quizzes and tests for you to use in the classroom. So you would show the video, present the PowerPoint, hand out the homework. I mean, we're a full teaching tool. Thank you for liking, subscribing is a big one, and becoming a member on our site for quantumblackboard.com. It's completely free, and you get cool new videos that are exclusive to members, as well as the ability to vote, and the opportunity to become a member of the month. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Google+. Our usernames are on our website, quantumblackboard.com. Just click the contact page. And why would you follow us? So you can get updates on what videos are coming out next. Next week, we'll be busting out Egypt #1, I think. Maybe not next week, sometime. Thank you for watching and helping QB in our quest to terminate ignorance.